started with Coach O. Coach, if you can start with that opening statement.
All right, guys, very disappointing. Give credit to Auburn. They came ready to play. The turnovers really hurt us. Obviously, defense was playing strong in the beginning of the line of scrimmage. They had 206 yards. We had 32 yards rushing. Too much pressure on the quarterback. We did not play very well, and Auburn played their best game. Any questions?
If you have a question, can you please put it in the chat?
Hey Ed, I know it's quick after this game, but just after this game, how do you evaluate kind of your team where it's at right now, and what things need to be done in the future?
Well, we got an open date. We're gonna look at the things that we need to get fixed, like we always do. We're gonna work on getting fixed. We got to play with consistency. Obviously, we got to get better at a lot of things.
Ed Wilson-Alexander from The Advocate. There seems to be a pretty clear correlation between y'all being able to win football games when you run the football effectively and losing when y'all aren't able to do so. What's behind that? Why were y'all struggling to do that today?
Well, we couldn't. You asked me why we couldn't run the ball. Is that what you asked me? And we tried. We couldn't block those guys. And I saw other people block their fronts. I really was surprised that we couldn't block them. I thought we could run the football. I was worried about our pass protection a little bit. I thought we needed to chip a little more and give the left tackle a little bit more help. I knew they were good pass rushers, but I was really surprised that we couldn't run the football.
Hey, Ed, Brooks again from The Advocate. With TJ Finley in this game, what did you see from him early? And, did you consider maybe Max earlier, and or were you just kind of like letting him work through some of those things?
Well, he played so well last week. There was a couple of throws that could have went either way. The receiver should have caught it. One was behind. And then I know when they make a turnover, I'm not gonna pull them out right away. I mean, you can't keep on pulling quarterbacks in and out like that. So we had to give him enough time to see what he can do. And then when we finally made the decision to put Max in, we just thought that we had to go in a different direction.
Yeah, obviously, in much of the first half, the defense was actually getting some stops. It was a low-scoring game. I guess, what do you think kind of turned there? What changed?
Yeah, I thought we were playing with our cleats in the grass. Bull had a good plan. Our guys were tackling. We were keeping the ball in front of us. We were eliminating explosive plays. Now, we had a couple of busts on the speed sweep. But overall, I thought our tackling was pretty good in the first half.
Yeah, Ed, going back to the defense, this is like the third time this year it's given up 500 more yards. It seemed like the first drive of the second half kind of was a killer, along with a 99-yard touchdown. But the first drive seemed to really put y'all behind the 8 ball. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we got to come out stronger. We got to come out stronger, and we got to play for 60 minutes. And we always talk about coming out strong in the second half, and we didn't. And we're going to look at the film. We got out physical up front. Tank basically a good player. We couldn't stop the quarterback. He made some big plays on us. And then we let the ball behind us in the fourth quarter. And those are things that we can't do in defense.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Coach, you mentioned Max, coming in there in the second half. I mean, just kind of how do you think he adjusted, to kind of being thrown out there? And just where do you see, I guess, kind of this battle kind of going over the next couple of weeks? Is there
we have to look at it. We have Miles our starting quarterback. That's clear. If TJ would have had an outstanding game and beat Auburn and stuff, then we'd have to discuss things. But Miles is definitely our starting quarterback. These guys are 2 young freshmen. They're going to be inconsistent because they're freshmen. But you know what? I can't expect them to perform well when we can't block. I mean, those defensive linemen were all over. These guys were running for their lives. You always got to start with protection. So I can't put it on young quarterbacks. We need to do a better job of protection.
Ed, you're always very generous about crediting your staff for doing this well or preparing the team well that way. But at this point, is it time to consider some, where your staff is defensively and maybe reassignments or jobs that they're doing, that sort of thing?
We evaluate every day. I'm always evaluating, but you got to go through a season and give everybody a chance and look at what we're doing. At the end of the season, we'll evaluate everything.
And Ed, after into the season, I mean, you've got tough games ahead. I mean, Do you feel like throughout the end of this second half that this game kind of started to get away from the team? And how do you keep things from unraveling? How do you have that conversation? Do you feel like the effort was there throughout the game?
Yeah. No, we got to look at the tape and see where we went wrong. We got to continue to fix the things we can. We got to be constructive. We got to be positive, and just identify what the problem is and come up with a solution. And we got to keep playing. There's a lot of young players out there. Eric Gilbert played well. There's some young guys that are learning how to play. This is a new team, but you got to learn. You come on the road at SEC, you better be ready to play. And it's my responsibility. Today we didn't start off fast, and Auburn was ready to play.
Coach, your defense might have played some of the best football it's played all year in the first quarter early on there. Then a pair of turnovers kind of, set Auburn up with a 14-0 lead. Did you get a sense that, maybe emotions might have been a bit deflated after, a pair of scores set up like that from the offense?
Sure. I mean, they're playing well, and all of a sudden we give up 2 touchdowns on offense, and that deflated those guys a little bit. It shouldn't. We got to be mentally tough not to let that happen, but I do believe that happened today.
And Ed, back in that first and back in the first half, I mean, you guys went forward on 4th on your own 35, even after a timeout. What were you sensing at that game, and why you felt you needed to go there?
We didn't go for it. It's called polo. We didn't go for it. What we did, we drew them off sides.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't a play. It was to draw them off sides. In fact, I thought it was a great call.
Thanks, Coach.